Hey everyone, welcome back to Excel for Beginners, and we're already on week 4. Can you believe it? Of this 6-week course, we've already made it to week 4. What on earth happened in the previous weeks? Well, week 1 was worksheets, getting used to worksheets, rows, columns, cell references, and navigating around a spreadsheet. Week 2, we looked at formatting your data so that Excel knows exactly what to do with it. And that's so important that Excel understands the data that you're giving it so that it can treat it in the right way. Week 3, last week, we looked at formulas and we started talking Excel's language. We started learning how to do plus, minus, times, divide, and do sum and average and start talking to Excel in a language that it wants. I'd love to know, how are you getting on with the homework? How are you finding the course? Please leave me a comment in the chat. If you're watching on catch up, please leave me a comment. I'm really curious how you're getting on with this, how you're finding it, and any questions at all, please put them in the comments, put them in the chat, and I will be happy to answer them for you. I want to transfer my enthusiasm for Excel from me to you, and I have lots to share. So please ask me any questions you have. Please, while you're at it, also hit like and subscribe. It helps me to reach more people and to help more people. So today, what have we got coming up in week 4? Well, we're doing a little bit more on visual formatting, making your spreadsheet look good and pull out the important bits. And then we're going to be coming on to sorting and filtering. Why would you do that? It's to organize, to understand your data and start to get insights from it, start to be able to understand what's going on with your data and be able to make decisions from it. And of course, stay tuned to the end for my excellent tip of the week. And I'm excited because I've got a couple of really good ones for you this week. And I've noticed that you really liked the keyboard shortcuts that I've taught you along the way. So there'll be a couple more of those in today's class. One tip on video quality before we get into this. Sometimes, depending on the video quality, it might not be able to see the spreadsheet as clearly. So what you want to do is go to the little cog symbol in the bottom corner of the screen, click on that, then it will say video quality, and just make sure that you select the highest number on there. So we'll give you the highest quality and be able to see all the little intricate details for Excel spreadsheets. Hello to Tracy, I'm just looking in the chat. Hi, Karen and Ella, and LS is tuning in from Canada. Adele Don says, good to be here, struggling with the layout and how to choose what goes up the top and at the sides. Do you mean in the formatting, how to make it look good? Or do you mean labeling rows and columns? Let me know and I'll be able to answer that for you. So, hi, Ray from New Zealand. Lovely to have you here. So lovely to have you all here. Thank you for saying hello. Thank you for interacting. It makes it so much more fun for me to see that you're here and chatting away and saying hello. So thank you for that. So open up an Excel workbook or Google Sheets or whatever you're working on, and I will do the same. And let's get going for week 4. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, let's get into this. So the first thing that I wanted to show you today is how to add borders to things. So I've opened up the spreadsheet that we had from last week, which is when we were doing formulas and things. And remember, we had this thing at the top here. I'm going to show you a way to kind of make this stand out a bit more, because it's meant to be a little summary at the top of the page. So what you can do is you can go and you can use the borders option here in the top under the home ribbon. And when you select all those cells, Excel kind of treats it as one box. So when you're adding borders, it's going to treat that as kind of one collection of cells. So if I say thick outside borders, for example, and click away so you can see what's happened, it treats it as one thing. So it puts the border all the way around the edge. For example, if you wanted to have all the different borders, like each and every cell, there's this option here, all borders. And I'll click away so you can see what's happened. And actually, I quite like it when it's got the thick outside border. So I'm going to go no border to start with, and then go thick outside borders. So then I also think this would look quite good if we change the color to make it stand out. So I'm going to use this kind of peachy, pastel-y, orangey color. I don't know what color that is. To make it stand out. And actually, we've got a duplication here. This is when we did last week, and I was showing you how to do addition and formulas. And actually, we don't really need this line. So I'm going to delete this. And the way that I've done that is I've selected the row over here, and then I do right click and press delete. And if I click away so you can see what's happened, you see that the top border there has disappeared. You're thinking, what's going on there? It's because we've deleted the row that had that border at the top. So I'm just going to reselect it. Well, I'll show you a different way, actually. I'm going to go here and I'm going to select top border. And you can see there's lots of different options here. I'm just going to go top border. You can have a play with that and start to develop your own style and develop your own way in choosing what you might want to have, you know, the colors that you like, the fonts that you think look good, and you can start to develop your own style. Okay, on to sorting. So we're covering 3 things today: borders and shading, which we've just done, sorting and filtering. So sorting. What is sorting? What does that mean? It just means putting your data in an order that makes sense. And why would you do that? You can start to see your data more clearly. You can understand your data and you can start to get to grips with it. So the way we're going to do this is if you go to the data ribbon here, and you can see that it says it's got this A to Z button here. And if I hover over it, it will show you, Excel's being a bit slow, it will show you what it does. I really like that about Excel, that if you hover over the button, it's trying to help you. It's trying to help you to understand what it does. So if I hover here, it says sort Z to A, highest to lowest. If I hover over here, it says sort A to Z, lowest to highest. You might think, what does that mean for like text and numbers and things? We'll come on to that. So let's start with let's say that we want to sort by description here. And if I press A to Z, that will mean that it will sort it in alphabetical order from A to Z, alphabetical order. You know what alphabetical order means. So I'm going to click that. And what's happened? Have I broken Excel? What is going on? This doesn't look right, people. Do I panic? Do I panic? I don't think I should panic, because of the power of the keyboard shortcut of Control and Z, or Z from our friends across the pond. So if I do Control Z, that does undo. And you can press it multiple times. If I press Control Z again, it will change what I did with the border. I press it again, and it will reinsert that line that I deleted. So if I do Control Y, it's the opposite. I'm going to redo what I've done. So if I press Control Y and again, then I get back to where I was and think, okay, thank goodness I haven't broken Excel. I have not broken Excel. And Control Z I use it so much. So the reason that happened is because it is adjacent to the table. I'm just going to select here to show that these rows are next to the table. So when I sorted that data, Excel went, oh, that must be part of the table because it's like attached. So the way to get over that is I'm going to insert a row. So the way that happens is I'm going to right click here and press insert, and it inserts a row for me. And what I like here is that this little paintbrush has come up. And if you click on down there, it says, do you want this row to be formatted the same as above? So this row 5, the same as below. So this row 7 that's got the headings for our table, or clear formatting. And actually I want to clear formatting. I don't need to have anything in that row, and it will create a nice space actually between that little table at the top and the table below with all the data in it. So I'm going to say same as below, and you can see like it's split that out. So if I now press A to Z here, which is I've selected this top row here, I'm in the description column, I press this sort button, and now it works. So you can see that the description is now A to Z. So we've got B, C, D, E, and so on, all the way down in alphabetical order. Awesome. Now it works, and we saved the day, and Excel was not broken. Hurrah. Did you know something that happened when I pressed the sort? I'm going to do a different column to show you. Just keep an eye on these figures up here, particularly these top 3. When I sort on here and I do A to Z, say, that does smallest to largest, do you see that these numbers change? And we think, well, that's not right. So we pointed to the cells that said 1st of August. And the reason it's done that is, do you remember how to look at what a cell is pointing to, what the formula is? If I double click on this cell, you can see that it's looking at these top 4 cells. And of course, every time that I sort the table, it will still refer to those cells. So that's something to be really careful of, to watch out on. When you're doing a sum, I'm going to press escape to get out of that. When you're doing a sum, do you remember we summed every row in this table? That's okay, because it doesn't matter the order that the numbers are in. It's just adding everything up. So that one is okay, because it's referring to everything. So it doesn't matter when things get jumbled up. So that's something to be really careful of and can really make you come a cropper. So just make sure you're not referring to particular cells in the table if you are going to do that. So I think we don't actually need this for now. Feel free to keep this in your version of a spreadsheet, but I'm going to delete this because I just want to focus on the table for now and sorting and filtering and showing you how to do that. How are you getting on in the chat? Lisa said panic. That was when I had the made Excel broken. Adele says my mic is crackling a lot. Is everyone else experiencing that? I will try and adjust. Hopefully, maybe it's all my excitement and I broke Excel. Hopefully that's a bit better. Let me know how that sound is. Sorry about that. Now, there's different types of sort, and there's different ways that Excel would treat something when it's going from A to Z. Thank you guys saying that the mic's good. Thank you. That is reassuring. Thank you. So you've broadly in Excel got 3 different types of data. You've got text, you've got numbers, and you've got dates. For text, A to Z means going from alphabetical order, A all the way down to Z. For Z to A, it just flips that. So that will put the Z at the top all the way down to A. For numbers, you think, well, what does A to Z mean? Numbers don't have A to Z. That doesn't make sense. All it means is it will put the lowest number first and go all the way down, all the way up to the highest number, and then flip that. So if you want the highest number at the top, then you'll do this Z to A button that we've got here. Same with dates. So an A to Z would mean that the earliest date is first. It puts it in chronological order. So we've got dates here from August. So let me show you that if you do A to Z, then it's got 1st of August, 2nd of August, 3rd, and so on. So it's putting them in date order. If I do put my cursor at the top here and put Z to A, it's flipped that. So it's put the latest date first and then goes down back to the beginning, back to the 1st of August. And you can sort on anything you want. You could sort on category, and then if I press A to Z, lowest to highest, then you can see that accommodations at the top all the way down in alphabetical order. Why would you do that? Well, I find that useful when I'm want to look at what's going on. So you say, oh, okay, this is what's happened in accommodation this month. This is what's happened in eating out. And as we come on to filtering, you'll see that more so. What I really like in Excel is that you can do this thing that's called multi-level sorting. So what I did was I clicked on this box at the top here, and you can choose to sort, forget filter, we'll come on to that. You can choose to sort on more than one level. You can just sort on the one level as well. So let's say we got category and we want to sort A to Z, and you press OK. Nothing's changed there because that's what we already had. But say you wanted to sort on category, and then within that, let's say you wanted to have the highest spending first within each category going down. I'll show you what we mean by that. So I'm going to go to my spending. So it says sort by category, cell values A to Z, then by my spending, and let's have largest to smallest. And can you see what Excel has done here? It's so clever. It knows that categories are text. So it suggested the order as A to Z or Z to A. It knows that spending is a number. So it said largest to smallest, smallest to largest, rather than saying A to Z. It's helping you out here. Say we were to add a date as well. What I love is that it says, can you see it slips here and says oldest to newest or newest to oldest? So I'm going to delete that for now. But I'm just wanting to show you that Excel understands that what your data is and then helps you to interpret it and to use it. And that's why week 2 was so important, where we looked at making sure that the formatting was correct in terms of telling Excel what type of data you're putting in the cells. So back to this and having the sort at different levels. So I said we're going to sort by category, and then we're going to sort by spending. You think, what does that mean? I'll show you exactly what that means. So I'm going to press OK. And you can see that it's sorted by category. So it's got accommodation first, and then eating out and so on. But within that, so this is just the accommodation lines. My spending at the top has got the highest amount. So the £58.20, and then the next one, and then the next one. And it says goes down. Same with eating out. At the top, we've got 48.38, and then it goes down in amount. So I've said, first of all, sort by category, and then within that, tell me the spending from like highest to lowest within each of those categories. Tracy says, when you click on a column to sort, does it automatically change the position of associated cells? Yes, that is an excellent question, Tracy. So I think what you mean is it will move the whole row for you. Yes, it absolutely does that. It knows that, okay, hotels.com, we paid £58.20, accommodation on Alan's Amex. It will move that whole row for you. Yes, great question. It doesn't just change that column. It's clever, and it says, we know that you're trying to sort the table. It will keep the row intact, if you like. So that is everything that I wanted to show you on sorting. Let's move on to filtering, and actually how you can do filtering and sorting at the same time, which is just blowing my mind, Excel. Excel is so cool. So filtering, what does filtering mean? It means that you are hiding or displaying certain data depending on different criteria. And I'll come into what that means as we go. But why would you even do that? Well, you want to understand the data. You want to show maybe just the important stuff. So you just want to keep, maybe you just want to keep accommodation showing in the table and exclude everything else. And then you can see like what you're interested in. Maybe you wanted to look at what Alan's been spending on his Amex card. Maybe you just wanted to look at the entertainment lines. So how do you do that? Well, you need to tell Excel that you want to filter the data. And can you see here at the top in the data ribbon, it says filter. So I'm going to press filter. What happened there? Can you see what happened? These little down arrows appeared. These are little drop down arrows that says, okay, you want to filter the data. Let's go. You are ready, Katie, to filter the data. If you don't want to filter the data, or you don't want to have that feature enabled, it's a toggle, you just turn it off. So I press that button again and the drop downs have disappeared. You're not in kind of the filter mode. So I'll press that again to turn it back on. So let's say that we just want to see what we've spent on groceries so far. So I'm going to click this drop down menu, and it comes up and it says, what do you want to include in this thing? If it's ticked, I will include it. If it is not ticked, if it's an empty box, I will not include it. So let's say we want to look at groceries. So I'm going to untick everything other than groceries. If I untick groceries as well, this OK box grays out because it's saying, well, I can't show you nothing. I have to show you something. So that's something to bear in mind. Sometimes you're thinking, why doesn't it let me hit OK? It's because you need to have something selected. So let me hit OK there, and you can see just the groceries lines. And you might be thinking, Excel's taken all my data away. Where's my data gone? Well, fear not. You know that it's in filter mode because it's shown this little what's that called? The funnel to say that it's filtered the data. Another clue is in the bottom left-hand corner down here, it says 6 of 29 records found. So you say, oh no, okay, it's only showing me 6, but it's still got the full 29. And another clue is it's got these blue headings showing that something is being filtered, as opposed to the normal black color for the row headings, for the row numbers. If you want to get rid of that and go back to the beginning and not filter anything, you can press clear and everything's gone. I want to show you a much quicker way of doing that. So if we want to show just groceries, it's kind of quite tedious to untick everything, blah, blah, blah. So this select all button allows you to select all, as the name suggests, but you can also use it to select none. So I'm going to tick that box that says select all, and it takes everything out and I think, okay, great. And now I can just hit groceries. So it's a lot quicker. It's kind of 2 clicks of the mouse rather than multiple. 1 to hit select all, to deselect all, and then 1 to hit groceries. And that's so much quicker. So I'll press OK on that. And then what's cool as well is you can do multiple different filters. So it's, okay, I've got groceries now. I know what we spent on groceries. Let's maybe see what we spent on Alan's card, on his Amex card. So I'm going to use that trick that I just showed you to deselect everything, select Alan's Amex, press OK, and then it will just show you those 2 lines that had Alan's Amex in that he used for those. I'm going to press clear again. And this final thing that I want to show you on filter is this really cool thing that Excel does, knowing that it knows what type of data you have in your different columns. It suggests different things how you might like to filter it. And I think that's so powerful. So let me show you, for example, on the date column, I'm going to click this drop down. You can see as I hover over it, it's telling you what it's showing. So it says date showing all. That's great. Well, I haven't filtered anything. That's what I was expecting. So I'm going to hit the drop down. And can you see here, it says date filters. And it says, do you want it to have it equal to a certain date, before a certain date, after, between 2 different dates? And you can just sort of play with it. And it's much quicker way of saying Excel kind of knows the common filters that you might want to do. You can just click on it and it does it for you. So you can see that when I click on the date, it has these date filters. When it has description, it says text filters. It's like, okay, great. Excel knows that this column is text. So when you click text filters, it says equals, does not equal, and so on. You can start to use filters that are relating to text. And finally, let me show you the numbers one. So it says number filters here. Excel is clever, and that is why it's so important that we covered in week 2 to make sure that you're telling Excel the correct format of your data, whether it's a date, a number, text, currency, and so on that we covered in that week. So number filters, is it equal to a certain amount, not equal, greater than, and so on. And it also has this top 10 one where you can get it to show you the top 10 or top 5, or you can change what that number is, top 5, top 7, whatever you want it to be. Excel is great. I love it. The other thing you can do is you can actually use these drop downs to sort at the same time. So you could just use that as a shortcut to sort as well and just click that and it will sort it for you. So clever. So I encourage you to have a play with this and to think, well, what is it that I'm interested in? Is it that I want to see where my friends paid for things and they contributed? So what I would do is I've clicked on that drop down next to friends paid. If I click on this one, I don't want to show it where there's 0. That little line, the dash, means 0. So I've excluded, by unticking that box, I am excluding the 0 lines. I press OK, and it shows me just the lines that have something in there. Let me show you this number filter. So say I wanted to only show number amounts greater than £10. I just put £10 in here. It says show rows where friends paid is greater than 10. Hit OK. And again, it's taken out those rows that where friends paid was less than 10. And again, your data's not disappeared. Everything is still there. If I click this clear button, everything's cleared away and your data is still there. So before I recap and give the homework, I just wanted to remind you, stay to the end of the video for my excellent tip of the week. And I'm excited to share this one with you. So what did we cover this week? Well, we looked at borders and putting nice boxes around your data to kind of pull it out, to draw people's eyes to it. We looked at shading those cells as well and how to shade different cells and how to start to bring your own style to it. And then we looked at sorting data and filtering data. So really start to get to grips with what you have there, to just pull out the things that you might be interested in, and to exclude everything else for now. It's still there, to exclude everything else for now that isn't of interest. So your homework is to have a play with this. Sort your data, have a play with it, see what you can do with it, different types of columns that you have. So with your text columns, how does it work with the A to Z and the Z to A, and then multiple levels of sorting? So maybe you do your description in alphabetical order, and then maybe you have multiple entries. So for example, I've got Sainsbury's twice. Maybe once you have description in alphabetical order, then maybe you put amount from highest to lowest so that you can start to see what's going on. Just have a play with it. If you don't have a spreadsheet like this, go back and create one and watch the previous videos and do the homework from the previous videos to start to create this. Or you can just download your spending from your credit cards or your bank account or whatever you want. So my excellent tip of the week. Firstly, I've got two actually. I'm cheeky. I didn't want to just do one. I wanted to do two. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a quick keyboard shortcut to turn on and off the filtering on this table. The way to do that is to do Control, Shift and L on the keyboard. And that has made those drop downs disappear. I press it again and it reappears. And actually what I like about Excel is when you hover over the buttons, it tells you the shortcut on there. So it says filter brackets, Control, Shift, L. I love Excel. It's so cool. It tells you how it's trying to help you. It's trying to teach you its language. The other little tip I wanted to show you was this thing called zoom to selection. So I'm going to go to view and I'm going to not have it how I want it. So it's like 100%. It's quite small. What if there was a way to tell Excel, just include the bits that I want you to show me. So I want this whole table, and I'm selecting the columns by just hitting the top of this, selecting A and then dragging along to select all the columns. I want you to show me just this, just those columns as big as the window is, so that it fills the whole space. And that's what this zoom to selection button is. So if I press zoom to selection, just press it once, it automatically expands and fills the whole screen. And you can see here, it just happens that it's 153% that this is. Say, for example, I only wanted to show these columns. I'm going to select those columns, press zoom to selection, and it zooms in massively and hits you in the face. And those are the columns that are shown. Excel has so many different features and things, and it's something that you pick up along the way. And this is sort of slightly advanced things that I wanted to show you to give you the excitement, to show you that there's so much you can learn with Excel, so much cool stuff you can do. So that's the end of week 4. Coming up in week 5, we're going to start looking at charts and graphs and visualizing your data. So once you've sorted and filtered it, that's one way of starting to get to grips with what's going on. But charts are so powerful as well, because they can show you at a glance exactly what is going on. How much did I spend on eating out? How much did I spend on transport? It kind of hits you in the face when you have it displayed visually. And I'm such a big fan of charts and graphs in Excel, and I'm excited to share that with you. So I'll see you back here, same time, same place. Please hit like on this video so it helps me reach and help more people. And I'm excited to see you again next week. Thank you. Just looking at the chat, says Karen says, thanks, Ella, Lynn. Thank you so much for tuning in. And LS says, thank you, good tips. And I love doing this excellent tips of the week at the end for you. Please leave a comment. Please put in the chat how you found the course so far, how you're getting on with the homework. If you have any problems and questions, please let me know. I will see you next week.